I can't really share this, but when I was at Northampton in England, we were getting a car ready to go across to America. A very wild Englishman, English driver. He came down to the shop. Are you recording that?
Born February 5th, 1947 in the village of Barnock in northern England, my dad is definitely cooler than yours. From 1972 to 1977, he traveled the world putting back pints and racing with some of the biggest names in the era. Carl Haas, Paul Newman, Jackie Stewart, Jackie Oliver, James Hunt, Jean-Pierre Beltois, and Bobby Rahal, to name a few.
Brewing coffee. Oh,
nice. And today, you have the privilege of watching his first YouTube video ever.
My friends and family have sort of pressured me to put something together. Originally we were thinking of a book, but that was just too much of a pain. So my son suggested doing these videos, so we're going to try this. One day I've been with my girlfriend and some other guys. We went to a place called Mallory Park in England and we watched a Formula 5000 race, won by Peter Gethin in a McLaren. Well, at the end of the day, I was driving home after dropping my girlfriend off. I saw this guy walking, and he was actually thumbing. He got his thumb out, and he was wearing a suit, and he had a briefcase. Being as it was close to midnight, I guess I wouldn't normally have stopped, but this man, he didn't look like he'd be dangerous or anything, so I stopped. We just got talking. I told him I've been to this race. He suddenly said, "My name is Bruce McLaren."
Bruce Leslie McLaren is a big deal. A New Zealand racing car designer, driver, engineer, and inventor. His legacy is the McLaren team, one of the most successful in Formula One history, winning a total of 8 Constructors' Championships and 12 Drivers' Championships.
For a start, I thought, I don't know whether I believe this guy. He said, "There's a transport cafe just up the road here before we get to the A1. We could stop there and have a coffee." We stopped, and as we sat there at the table, he opened up his briefcase and took out his passport, and I looked, and indeed it was Bruce McLaren. Started to tell me that what he would do quite often would walk along this highway, looking especially for young guys, because this is around midnight. It's only the young guys who'll be driving it. At that point, I told him where I was going. I was going to turn left in the A1 and go to Stamford. He was going towards Peterborough. So I said, "You know what? I will take you all the way." He said, "Okay, I'd like you to go on the route that I show you. I would like to time you, and I want you to keep to the speed limit. I'm looking for some guys that I can put in maybe a Formula 3 car or a Formula Ford at Silverstone Circuit. That's going to be in a few weeks' time." I drove the course that he said, and I got to the point to drop him off, and he said, "Okay, here's a phone number. It's for my secretary. You can get in contact with her. You'll come to that testing day at Silverstone." He gave me the date. I could hardly sleep. I'm telling my friends, and lots of them were driving on that road ever since then at midnight. The day before, he was there at Silverstone already, and he was testing a brand new Can-Am car. And I know what it's like when you're getting ready for a test. I mean, you're bolting the car together quickly and everything. Well, anyway, as he was testing, a piece of the bodywork fell off, came off, caused him to go into the barrier, and he was killed instantly. Very sad. Also, it was a little sad for me. I didn't get to do that test drive. So then I thought, well, I really would like a chance at driving. A friend of mine had spoken and said, "Did you know that BRM
Founded in 1945 and based in the market town of Bourne in Lincolnshire, it participated from 1951 to 1977, competing in 197 Grand Prix and winning 17. BRM won the Constructors' title in 1962 when its driver Graham Hill became world champion. In 1963, 64, 65, and 71, BRM came in second in the Constructors' competition.
Just like 12 miles away from where we live, at Bourne. And, you know, maybe you could get a job there. I went there for an interview and I had my apprenticeship papers from Perkins Diesel Engines. Immediately, they employed me to work in the engine shop. It didn't take me long to realize there was no way I was going to get to drive a race car.
At this time, my dad was working in the BRM engine shop. This meant he built and maintained the cars, especially the V12 engines, which he built from scratch. He enjoyed it, but what he really wanted was to get on one of British Racing Motors' 2 traveling racing teams.
I'd asked about going on the teams. At that time, there were 2 teams. There was a Can-Am team, a sports car series run in Canada and America. Then they had the Formula One team, which goes all over the world. Not much chance. The last guy was here 6 years or more and thought, I don't have that time. So I said to one guy in the shop, he was a sort of brown noser, he was in with the boss. I said, don't say anything, but I'm going to go for another job. I took a half day off and I went to this other company and they were making steam turbines for ships. I couldn't believe it that they were going to immediately offer me this job. Give me a day or so to think about it. I said, okay. So I went back. Where were you this morning, Connor? I said, I had personal day off. So, I hear you went for another job. Don't you like it here? Tim, you know what I want. I want to get on a race team. He said, well, I've got a car in the other shop there that's being put together, being assembled. It's a Can-Am car that's going to be run by Pedro Rodriguez. Get your toolbox, go in there in the shop, get to work on the car. If the car's ready on time, you'll be going with that car to Belgium. Pedro Rodriguez was just awesome guy. There was one guy who was sick on the Formula One team, and they came to me and said, what do you think about going on Formula One? Okay. They had this thing of being a bit superstitious sometimes. They don't want a Jonah. They don't want somebody who's going to be, you know, bad luck. Well, as it happened, the first race I went with them, we went to Austria. We won that race. And they said, okay. And then the second race we went to, Italy, we won that as well. So I said, you're okay, you're in. This was a dream that I had. And here it was, it happened. And went all around the world with about 10 or 12 guys. We're all together. We'd either fly somewhere, or a lot of times we'd drive into Europe. We just had awesome times together. It's great.
And you better believe you picked up a lot of good stories along the way as well. Thanks for watching my dad's first video, but this is just the start. Subscribe for more stories about my dad traveling around the world, working with drivers, and even dating. Maybe we'll even get him to share that story that he couldn't share at the start of this one. See you next time.